Manchester United as a football club have a busy summer coming up, and I think most people are particularly excited about the idea and the potential for new players to come into the club. But before we can figure out what new players we need to sign, we need to assess the current situation. Who is already here? Who should we be keeping here? Who should we be selling this summer? And who should we potentially be keeping for one more year before then moving on next year? Let's keep it pretty simple. Let's just get straight into it and look at who should be kept and who should be sold this summer. So we're going to go through this in order of position, just because I think it makes the most sense, and we'll start off with goalkeeper. Andre Onana, we are obviously keeping, no discussion there. Yes, he struggled at the start of the season, and I still think he has flaws, but he's a very good goalkeeper, and hopefully we see more of his strengths next season. Another keeper I would be keeping is also Altay Bayindir, basically because why would you sell him? He's a backup goalkeeper. At the moment, he seems content with being backup. Keep him. Hopefully next season we see a little bit more in the cup competitions or the Europa League. But yeah, keep those two goalkeepers. In terms of the third choice keeper, Tom Heaton, I would imagine will leave the club this summer to either be replaced by a new third choice goalkeeper or perhaps one of the young academy players coming into the side and taking that third position. But yeah, goalkeeper is pretty straightforward. And to be honest, to start off with, centre-back is as well. Raphael Varane is already leaving the club. So cheers Varane, but we are one centre-back down. I also think Johnny Evans will probably leave in terms of his playing role. I don't know that he was ever actually meant to be a United player again last season, but he was. He done a very good job, but I don't really expect it to continue. Perhaps he becomes a coach or something like that. But in terms of a player, I don't think Johnny Evans will be in the Manchester United squad next season, unlike Lisandro Martinez. You keep Lisandro Martinez, of course you do. We saw the effect that he has on the side in the FA Cup final, his aggression out of possession, his ability to defend on the front foot, his leadership traits, and then of course that just beautiful quality on the ball. You keep Lisandro Martinez, of course you do. I also think you keep Willy Campbell as well. Perhaps we didn't see as much of him as what we might have wanted and expected at one stage in the season, but you keep Campbell probably as a backup right centre-back, maybe even a third choice centre-back, but he's a very decent young player. I really like the profile. I think you keep him. The discussion at centre-back comes between Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. This is where I get stuck and actually want your guys' help. You sell one of them this summer. I think you do. I think the other one you keep for one more year and then probably sell next summer. Now, some people will want both of them sold, but if we lose Varane, Evans, Maguire and Lindelof in one summer, I think it just leaves us with too much work to do. So you can sell one of them this summer, the other one next summer. What way around would you do it? Let me know in the comments, because I am I don't want to be on the fence here, but I'm stuck. I really don't know who to pick. Harry Maguire has more value and is certainly the better player in my opinion, but the value could be worth selling. Because, you know, financially we are in a spot of bother. Sell him this summer for a big fee. It could work. Victor Lindelof, if you were to keep him, is probably a better squad player in the sense that he's more versatile, can play left back, left centre-back, right centre-back or right back. But at the end of the day, he simply isn't as good as Harry Maguire. Which one do you keep? Which one do you sell next summer? Do let me know in the comments down below. But apart from that, that is the centre-back situation sorted. We finish off the defence by looking at the fullbacks, where again it starts off fairly straightforward. Brandon Williams, I think he's going to go this summer because did you even know he was still a Manchester United player? See you later, mate. Thank you very much. In terms of the others, I think you probably keep them all for a year. Diogo Dalot has been our best player this season, certainly top two, been absolutely brilliant. You keep him. Luke Shaw, on his day, is the best left back in the world in my opinion, so you keep him for one more season. Next season is really judgment time for him though. If he does not stay fit next season, you have to sell him next year. I would take the risk on keeping him one more season, just because I think when he does play, he is that good. But he's in trouble, he's got a big 12 months. So does Tyrone Malacia as well. Now the reason I'm keeping Malacia more than anything is because I don't know how you sell him. I don't know who would come and buy Tyrone Malacia right now. He hasn't played for a year. So I think you keep Malacia, I think you keep Shaw. They're both kind of on their last warning in terms of injuries and availability. Shaw, by the way, to go back to it, I think you're also keeping for the fact that he could play centre-back because we are a bit low in that position. So that's kind of that. And then Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think I keep him for one more season as backup right back to Diogo Dalot, unless a really good offer was to come in or a player becomes available which you can't miss out on, that you have to go sign right now. Again though, Wan-Bissaka in terms of in the future, you then sell him next summer. Because long term he isn't the profile that we need. I'm just very cautious of selling too much this summer. So I keep Wan-Bissaka for one more year, sell him next season, unless a very good offer comes in this year or a player becomes available. So the fullback situation I think is reasonably straightforward, but I think this time next year it will be a topic of big discussion.
So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, jerseyfifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off when you order.
So we of course finished the defensive positions before the ad, and now we are on to the midfield, where again it starts off fairly straightforward. Mason Mount, you keep him this summer. Some people will want to be reactionary, say he hasn't played, say it was a waste of money, and say sell him this summer, I want him gone. But it doesn't really make sense. He is such an asset to a football club like us. He's a homegrown talent. He's still got plenty of years ahead of him. He's incredibly versatile. Physically and technically, he is a very good player. You keep Mason Mount. Of course you do. Again, he's probably got a big 12 months coming up, but you keep Mason Mount. You also keep Bruno Fernandes. I think he has really kind of silenced those people which were questioning him and his ability to stay at this club for the next couple of seasons. You keep Bruno Fernandes. He is everything you want in a Manchester United player. You keep Bruno. Someone you don't keep, however, Casemiro. Sorry, Casemiro. I'm not going to pile loads of hate on you here because I think it's been done enough, to be honest. It just hasn't worked this season. Last season, he was a very good player. This season, no. Physically, he can't keep up with what we need to do as a football club. Technically, I don't think he can keep up either. And even tactically, I think he is a little bit short at the moment. So cheers, Casemiro, for last season, or, your first season. Time to move on, but thank you very much. The same for Christian Eriksen as well. I just don't really think physically he's what we need. Tactically, he's not what we need. Move him on. Move him on. We got him on a free, so any sort of money is going to be a profit. You're probably looking at around £6 million for him. Again, thanks, Christian Eriksen. It was good. See you later. Someone I will never accept saying see you later to is Kobbie Mainoo. Kobbie Mainoo is staying at this football club, hopefully until he is at least 140 years old, because he is that good at football. Kobbie Mainoo, please stay. And, Manchester United, please keep him. If you dare sell him, I will find you. Keep Kobbie Mainoo. He's incredible. Now, whilst Kobbie Mainoo is an academy graduate that I would be keeping, one that I would actually be getting rid of is Hannibal. I just don't think it's worked. We've probably let him down a little bit by not giving him enough opportunities, but his loan to Sevilla didn't really work. I just don't think he's ever going to hit the quality that we need. So Hannibal, go a fresh start somewhere else, and the same for Donny van de Beek as well. It's fairly straightforward, right? It hasn't worked for one reason or another. Go to another club, hopefully have a great career, but it's not going to be at Manchester United. In terms of a player who I remain uncertain on, Scott McTominay. Now, 12 months ago, I was very happy for Scott McTominay to be sold for a good price. But we've seen this season his value as a bench player. As a player who comes in and makes an impact playing in a forward position. I still think he represents, really good value to the squad. I think he's very, very useful. Physically, he's very good. Technically, I think he's better than what people give him credit for. He's a hard worker. He seems like the sort of guy who does have leadership qualities, who does seem good around the dressing room. He seems also content with being a backup player. As long as he is a backup player, you keep him for one more year. If he's a starter, no thank you, sell him. But if we're happy to keep him on the bench for another season as an impact player, keep him for one more season and then sell him next year. Again, simply because it's difficult to sell too many right now. So, yeah, Scott McTominay can stay one more season as that sort of impact player from the bench. And then the final midfield decision comes down to a player who is ours, but also kind of isn't ours, Sofyan Amrabat. Do you keep Sofyan Amrabat / make it permanent? Really, really tricky. Really, really tricky. I have seen him for Fiorentina. I have seen glimpses of it this season as well, what he can be. And I still think he can be a very, very useful player for Manchester United. Again, if we're talking about a backup player here, I think you've struggled to find a player that good for that price with that experience anywhere else on the market. But at the same time, he hasn't had a good enough season. It's very, very tricky. Again, I do want your guys' thoughts in the comments down below on this one. I'm not going to sit on the fence though. I'm going to make Sofyan Amrabat a permanent deal unless, again, a really good opportunity comes up with a young South American player, something like that. Unless something like that comes up, I would keep Amrabat. Yeah, I would sign Amrabat. I would sign Amrabat, and that does finish our midfield. Let's just move straight to the wingers. Who are we keeping? Garnacho. Obviously, had a very, very good season. Become a mainstay in the starting 11. Will that be the case next season? I'm not so sure, but you definitely keep him. You definitely keep him. I also think you keep Ahmad as well. Finally given a chance towards the end of the season. I think he's shown what he can do as a right winger. He's a very, very nice profile. Again, probably reasonably content with being a squad player rather than a starter, which I think is handy for us. So I'm going to keep Ahmad. In terms of who we're not keeping, Jadon Sancho. We're not getting into this. we're not going too deep into this conversation, it just hasn't worked, right? And I think if Erik ten Hag is to be manager, although I'm not sure if that's the case, but if he is to be manager, Sancho's not going to stay. So currently ten Hag is manager, so I'm going to sell Sancho. If we get a new manager, perhaps we can revisit the conversation. But Sancho, for now, is going to leave. And the same for Facundo Pellistri as well. Again, just not hit the heights. Perhaps we didn't give him enough of an opportunity to do so. But I just don't really think he's ever going to be quite good enough at football. I don't think his skill set is quite good enough for Manchester United, even as a squad player. So I'm going to let him go. And then Omari Forson as well, I believe is out of contract this summer. And as far as we're aware, he doesn't seem too interested in extending his contract. So if he doesn't want to be here, don't keep him here. See you later, mate. Someone who I still think does want to be here, Marcus Rashford. Now, this one might divide opinion because I know a lot of people don't like him. But Marcus Rashford on his day, yes, I know that day isn't often enough, but on his day is an incredible player. Now, Rashford is a player I'm a massive fan of, but I'm going to put big pressure on him. He has the biggest 12 months of his career coming up. It's make or break time for Marcus Rashford. If he has a poor season, sell him next summer. Sell him next summer. But if he does what we all know he can do, then you're holding a £100 million player there who came through our academy. He's an academy graduate. He's a homegrown talent. And he genuinely, on his day, can be one of the most dangerous players on the planet. I think you take the risk, you take the gamble, you give him the benefit of the doubt for 12 months. I do understand those that want to sell him, by the way. But for 12 more months, I'm going to keep him. I'm going to give him one more chance. But Rashford, it is time to perform. It's probably also the same for Anthony as well. I mean, I think most people would want to sell him. And again, I understand that. And I probably would like to as well. But I think we have the sticking point of who on earth is going to buy Anthony right now. I don't even know if it's possible for us to sell him. So I'm going to keep Anthony. But again, if the right offer comes in, let him go. See you later. And again, Mason Greenwood, see you later, mate. No interest in keeping someone like that at the club. Get him gone. Let's finish with the strikers. We're not going to mess about here. Anthony Martial is already gone. Kind of emotional seeing him go, but yep, thanks for the memories. See you later, Martial. And then Rasmus Højlund, we are, of course, keeping. Obviously, we're keeping Rasmus Højlund, and that brings us to our final list of players that we are keeping. We are selling this summer, and we are selling next summer. Like I said, with a few players, we're looking at giving one more chance. Luke Shaw, Tyrone Malacia, perhaps Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Marcus Rashford. You've got one more chance. Got a big season ahead of you. But apart from that, that is how I would be kind of assessing the squad currently. Let me know if you agree in the comments down below. Let me know if you disagree, any changes you would make, all of that in the comments. But apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.